And this is Josh Velasquez.
And I'm Dylan Davis.
And this is once again the J&D Sport Show. So, once again, sorry for being a little bit late posting this episode. We just wanted to make sure we got the best information we can get to you. And we've also been extremely busy lately. Of course, we both had to watch Avengers Endgame. So that's the biggest reason why we couldn't film yesterday. But today's episode...
No, we're not going to spoil it for you either.
In today's episode, we're going to only focus on the NFL draft just because there's still news from the NFL draft. You have, just big names that selected, that fell, people who selected, high up, like 6th overall, for instance, that people are scratching their head at. You had, teams not drafted at all in the first round, but had a decent draft. You had teams drafting back into the first round, and then you had teams like Seattle and Dallas who only had a handful of picks on the last day and were able to turn out and draft and gain 2 to 3 or more picks. So, right now, Dylan, who do you think had the best draft class out of all the teams?
The best draft class... I would honestly probably go with either the Cardinals.
I think the Patriots.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I know, obviously, and I'm not gonna say this because of Kyler Murray, but I think the Cardinals had a very successful draft.
I think they do. I just don't, in my opinion, I do not think Kyler's gonna be a good quarterback. I think he's too short. I think his measurables are just not fit for an NFL QB. Yes, I would love him to be good, but I just feel like he is not going to be a good NFL QB. I feel like the Cardinals are going to screw themselves over of how they treated Josh Rosen. And honestly, I think the Miami Dolphins are going to be the ones who are looking back and thanking the Arizona for drafting for drafting Kyler Murray, because he could be a bust. And they only traded a late second-round pick for him. And I don't want to understand the hype on Kyler Murray. I understand, yes, he was the Heisman winner, but he only played one true season, in Oklahoma. And I just feel like he's not going to be a good QB. Speaking of QBs and sticking with them of who I don't think is going to be good, I also feel like that Haskins is not going to be a good QB either. I just feel like he's, what is his name, Jamarcus Russell, who got drafted by Oakland. I feel like he's going to be Jamarcus Russell 2.0. I don't feel like he's going to be, good. And his whole, the league done messed up. He is stupid for saying that. Right there, he lost so many fans because of that. Because the league didn't know mess up. You had 2 teams drafted QB. It's not like you fell, like Aaron Rodgers fell through and you got drafted in the 20s. You were the 15th overall pick. The league didn't mess up. No one wanted you. No one needed a QB. This was a defensive draft.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why it's just dumb. And honestly, I don't think, in my opinion, out of all the QBs in the first round, which was 3, correct?
Yeah, 3.
I honestly think you're going to be shocked. You fans are going to be shocked. When we look at this draft class in 5 years, because I like to do 5-year windows of where it's going to be at.
Yeah.
I think Daniel Jones is going to be the best one out of all of them.
Ding, 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 ding. I couldn't agree more.
Not because I feel like out of all of them, I feel like he's going to learn the best. He's going to sit the most. He's going to sit back and realize what he needs to do. He's going to be watching Eli Manning, so he's going to know exactly what not to do. But I just feel like he's going to be the best one. I feel like if you watch his tape, he's a smart QB. He doesn't throw bad passes. He had bad wide receivers in college. He didn't do well. All these people, yes, I think Daniel Jones was a reach. I would not have drafted him that high.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, this could help your franchise in the future. And even if all 3 QBs don't pan out, do you know who everyone's going to be looking at? Not the Giants, of why they drafted Daniel Jones at number 6. I was like, why did Arizona draft
why did they?
And then they trade Josh Rosen, especially if Josh Rosen does good in Miami. if Josh Rosen does good in Miami and Kyler Murray does not do good, I guarantee you, in 2 to 3 years, Cliff Kingsbury and that whole entire front staff will be fired. Because it's an inexcusable thing if they do not do good. I'm hoping all these QBs do good. I'm hoping no one does bad. You hate to see someone have a terrible year, but in my opinion, I just feel like I don't know who's gonna have a better career between Haskins and Murray. I just feel like, honestly, I think Murray might have a better year. It's a more successful year just because he has better weapons, and also like where they're playing at, like they're playing. Haskins would be playing Dallas, Philly, and the Giants twice a year. Yeah, those are always great games, and those are bloodbaths. As the Cardinals will be facing the Rams, the 49ers, and Seattle, which are good teams, but they're not as physical as an NFC East matchup would be. But I think that New England just had the best draft class. And folks, you have to realize that we're not talking about who drafted the best players. This is who I think had the best draft class. And now this is where they were at. This is where they had their picks at. So the New England Patriots couldn't pick number 1 overall. It's how well did they utilize where they were at. And I just feel like they were so good. Picking up Keneal or Harry, I can't pronounce his name, but he was...
Yeah, N'Keal Harry.
N'Keal Harry. That was a great pick. It's just, it seems like they do it every single year. It's just... Jaquan Williams, he was a great corner, and Chase Winovich.
Yeah, that was a good pick.
This seems like that's just like one of those vintage Patriots players.
Yeah.
And then the most pick, in my opinion, was they taking a punter in the 5th round.
Yeah. I haven't saw, was it Tampa Bay took a kicker?
Yeah, but Tampa Bay
one of those rounds.
It seems like every couple of years. But
yeah.
But you think why do you think Arizona had the best draft class?
Well, yeah, it's not because of Kyler Murray, that's for one thing. Sure, it adds some value, but I really like what they did getting Byron Murphy in the first pick in the 2nd round. I had Byron Murphy ranked high in my board. I actually had him in the 1st round, even in the top 10. And that was only because, especially when Denver was fielding trade offers for Harris, I figured maybe they might look at a corner. Because they haven't had that real shutdown corner since, Aqib Talib, but even Harris when he was actually playing well. I liked that they got Zach Allen, the defensive end, Hakeem Butler, and I don't know much about Andy Isabella, but I know that Hakeem Butler's got some good size. He's 6'6". He's got some good range. Deontay Thompson, the safety, I think that he's a pretty valuable safety. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Landon Collins. Coverage, he's going to have to improve on, but he's a good tackler.
Who do you think the worst pick would be for Arizona?
The worst pick? Like I said, Andy Isabella, I'm not really sure about him.
Okay.
Because, they got him in the 2nd round, and that was the trade. That was the pick they used from Rosen's trade. I think the kid is out of UMass, and thinking of wide receivers, we kind of got blown away by guys like Marquise Brown, DK Metcalf, N'Keal Harry, A.J. Brown. And I think A.J. Brown might have still been available. I don't really remember on the top of my head, but he might have still been available when Andy Isabella got picked. Now, I don't know. Andy Isabella is only 5'10", 190, so I don't know if he's going to be maybe like a slot guy or like a punt return, kick return type of guy. But I think with just the 3rd pick of the draft, picking a guy like Isabella, you never know. I don't know how he's going to pan out, but I think there might have been other guys they could have targeted. in that draft at that spot. But I wanted to bring up the quarterbacks again.
I want to bring up, speaking of, since
okay.
we're talking about Atlanta, in my opinion, the worst pick is, everyone's going to think I'm crazy again. I think the worst pick was Kyler Murray. I just feel like they had Josh Rosen. They just drafted him number 1 overall last year. Really, you're going to judge a quarterback? No, you don't judge a quarterback from 1 year. I feel like this was their worst pick. I feel like, especially with this great defensive draft they have, I feel like they could have easily been a better, pick. Who do you think?
Yeah,
who, in your opinion, had the worst draft class?
The worst.
Because everyone always talks about the best draft class. But the worst draft class. In my opinion, Philadelphia Eagles, because they're trash. They're a trash organization. They're trash. Can't stand the fan base like RJ Monroe. No, I'm joking. It's Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals easily have the worst draft class.
Yeah, I don't really.
And also because if you look at it, you think of I think they didn't address the quarterback. They just, I'm not.
Yeah, and they
yes,
grabbed Jonah Williams early,
but I don't think he's gonna be a good.
Bless you.
Thank you. I don't think he's gonna be a good. Bless me. Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was thinking about that. You're putting Williams.
I just feel like, yes, they addressed the offensive line. I feel like it was a mix between the Cincinnati Bengals and
Trying to think of teams that really didn't. Did Tennessee do a whole lot?
Chicago didn't do well.
Because I believe it was Tennessee who took the gamble.
Honestly, Chiefs didn't do that amazing.
But didn't Tennessee pick that? He was a top 5 prospect.
Yes,
he tore his ACL.
Tennessee. Tennessee has had a bad.
That's quite the gamble.
Yeah, especially in their first round. And I'm a Dallas fan, and yes, I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to bring up Jalen Smith. Yes, that's a gamble, but we took him in the second round. And don't forget, before that game, Jalen Smith was a top 5 prospect.
Mm-hmm. That's what Jeffrey Simmons was too.
Yes.
Top 5 guy, and then he tore his ACL.
He was projected to be the number 1 player overall.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeffrey Simmons was the top 10. Yes, that's, what's the difference? Top 5, top 10, number 1 overall. That's a huge difference. But that's also why he fell, too.
Yeah.
That's why.
I'm just surprised they took that gamble in the first.
Exactly.
I really am.
I can understand drafting him in the second round because it's the second round. But first round, it's so difficult to take a gamble. That's also why Giants are being criticized, because you're taking a gamble on Daniel Jones because he's not going to play for 1 or 3 years, according to Dave Gettleman. But I just feel like this was a very surprising draft class. I do also want to say, I know Dylan doesn't want me to bring this up, but out of our mock drafts, I did surprisingly well.
Yeah.
I had 7 or 8 picks, I believe, correct?
Yeah, I think it was around there. Might have been 6, actually.
6 or 7, something like that. I believe it was 7 because of the late at the end.
And I had 2.
And you had 2. I'm honestly.
But I had Bosa first, and that kind of messed me up.
In the top 5, I had 3 or 4 correct. So I was on a roll on the top 10, and top 5, top 10, and then of course after that I just fell apart. But I know Dylan was very close with his team. Like, he had a player going 15th, and they were taking 14th or 16th.
Yeah. Yep. It was right. Trying to remember what picks it was. I had guys going like right before, right after.
But overall, I think this was a great draft class. It was a very entertaining draft class.
Oh yeah.
It was
There's a lot of guys I'm going to be excited to see out there.
The one guy I would want to bring up is DK Metcalf. Honestly, he's a good wide receiver. I just don't know if he's going to be, looking at him, let me bring up his, I want to bring up his combine stats. But
yeah, he went off in the combine, I know that. He had the best vertical jump, I think. Ran a 4.3 40 at his size.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I know some people said something to do with injury, but I think a lot of the reason he fell was because he's only really perfected probably 3 routes. That's all. Like, as a receiver, you have more quality if you have an extended route tree. If you're able to do a lot of different routes, but Metcalf's really only been remotely successful on like the streak, the post, and the slant. And you look at his highlight tape, and those are really the routes that he runs that he gets success with. I haven't seen him with the tape I watched. I haven't really seen a whole lot of out routes. I haven't seen a lot of curls, comebacks, drags, in routes, any of those. I've seen even flags. I've only seen really him be successful on the streak, the post, and the slant.
Yeah. I just feel
Now, given he's huge and his size is great, but, in the NFL, you got to be, especially, for a guy like Russell Wilson, you got to do a lot more than that. Or be able to do a lot more than that.
Yeah. No, 100%. Like, I just feel like I don't know, I wasn't, I don't think I feel like he had great numbers, but it's one of those positions that, he had a 7.38 3-cone drill, which is, I want to see where he stands up to the other wideouts in his. At the 40-yard dash, he was 4th. Bench press, he was tied for first. Vertical jump, he was 3rd. Bar jump, he was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. So he had a good. But the 3-cone drill, he was 1, 2, 3. He was in the teens. But I feel like yes, he's gonna be a good. And I don't know if he's. I just don't especially one thing that got me is people laugh about it is. I call he showed up to that interview.
Mm-hmm.
Shirtless, really? You're gonna do that?
Yeah.
No, this is a professional interview. That's how you represent yourself, really? No.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what.
And no, go ahead.
Everyone's like, oh, he's gonna be no. He's not gonna be. I don't think he's gonna be a good wide receiver. He's too stiff, like you said before. He can't. He's always had issues toning himself, and he's a good jump ball guy, but he's more of a tight end.
I think your best receiver in this draft was probably Marquise Brown.
I feel like he's gonna be a tight end. He has the physical attributes to be a tight end.
He could very well be. I could almost see him. He doesn't. And that's the thing. It's very hard to project what he'll be because we don't know what we'll see. But I think he's going to be a guy that's, obviously going to be an outside guy. Well, I think he's going to be used. Honestly, I think he's going to be used just like he was. Like, they're only going to use him for certain things. Like, look at Calvin Johnson. I'm not comparing him to Calvin Johnson, but Calvin Johnson, he was an all-around great receiver. But, his career wasn't lived as long as it could have been. And I just kind of see Metcalf going down that kind of road where he'll have a decent career, but I don't know how long he's going to stick around for.
One thing I'm worried about, too, is so Metcalf had intended to play in his true freshman season in 2016, but the 4-star recruit broke his foot in the second game of the year. And then, so he played in 2017. And then in 2018, he suffered a season-ending neck injury. After, he looked like a superstar, playing in the first 7 games of the season, going 26 catches 569 yards, 21.9 yards per receptions, and 5 touchdowns. Yeah, that's great, but it's a neck injury. It'll scare me. I don't like seeing neck injuries on skilled positions or any positions.
I think that's part of why he dropped too, his injuries.
I'm hoping, yes, again, once again, I'm going to reiterate myself. I hope he does good, but those just I don't know. He's just his weakness though. He fails to sell fake routes. He fails to sell fake routes.
Mm-hmm.
He has, his drop rate is really high. He needs better positioning against himself when he's playing him against more physical and speedy player. He needs better footwork. He rushes sometimes. So,
right.
I feel like that's the issue. Is like he needs, but he has strengths too. I'm not just gonna compete. He's a huge guy, so if it's a jump ball, he's probably gonna get that jump ball.
Oh yeah. I bet he'll win most of those battles.
Yeah, like he's gonna be a great player. It's just
there's just a few factors that might hinder him a little bit.
Yeah, and once again, like I said before, I hope he does well.
Yeah, but speaking of when you were talking about professionalism, I wanted to bring back up the quarterbacks. We mentioned obviously when Rosen got traded and stuff. I was shocked when I saw the video of how he composed himself, giving the message to Arizona fans and Miami fans.
I lost all of the respect I had left for Steve Smith.
For who?
When Steve Smith went after Josh Rosen on following the Cardinals and whatnot. This dude, all he does is talk. Like, yeah, he was a good wide receiver in the NFL, but dude, stop talking. You're terrible in the booth. You need to do something better. All you do is whip on players, and I just can't stand. I can't stand him like whipping on Jay Sutton for telling like, oh, he's terrible in the booth. He had a better career than you, Steve. But then he's like unprofessional. Dude, you're the most unprofessional person that's ever played the game. You smack. Dude, all you do is talk trash. You're a great wide receiver, but you never once as great receivers in the year. Like, I just can't stand that. Like, he was he was more professional second year than Steve Smith has been his whole entire career.
Well, even like when you mentioned when Haskins, the thing he said after, I'm sure he wanted to go to the Giants. He grew up a Giants fan. They had a lot of meetings with him, everything. I think he almost expected to go there. And then when he said that team's passed up on him, got to number 15, he said the league done messed up and all this stuff. And
I feel like he messed up by saying that.
Oh, yeah, because you know what? That just shows, and it kind of showed me as a Giants fan, like maybe it's a good thing the Giants didn't pick him because right here and right now, perfect example of how he's going to handle adversity. So when he's given adversity, this is one of those moments, he handles it with immaturity. And he goes out and says the league done messed up, and he says this stuff like that. Now, that's a lot of the reason why I think the Giants picked Daniel Jones at 6. And before anything, I'm going to give a quick little, piece of my mind, is that there's a lot of people that are saying the Giants reached at 6. Now, part of me, yes, I can see it, but the other part of me is this. If you see a franchise quarterback that you think is going to lead your team or to be the face of your franchise in the near future, it doesn't matter if you pick him at 6 or 17. I mean, obviously maybe his talent, a lot of people thought he would drop, but if he's going to be your guy, you take him at 6 because otherwise you face the gamble in between those picks from 6 and 17. If he gets off the board, you're screwed because you just lost him. So you're safer to pick him at 6 and then see who is available at 17 and then go from there. Now, Daniel Jones' numbers will not blow anybody away. You brought it up earlier, I'll bring it up again. His receivers were terrible. They dropped many passes. Even a lot of his deep balls you saw, threw beautiful deep balls. His receivers dropped them.
He can throw the ball great. He didn't have wide receivers. Like, you can't.
Exactly, and that offensive line was terrible.
That's
Didn't
why,
give
and
him
also,
time.
like in my opinion, I like looking at quarterbacks who did good. They didn't have an all-star wide receiver. They didn't have an all-star running back. Because then you're like, okay, look what they did with this subpar talent. Now,
Yeah,
now imagine if we put him behind a great offensive line with
exactly.
great wide receivers, with a great tight end, with a good running back.
And you brought up the point earlier too, is that I think that Daniel Jones does have a chance to be successful because he's probably going to be the only quarterback in the first round that has the opportunity to sit. And a lot of people say, well, if you draft a quarterback in the first round, they want to see him, they're antsy to see him. But you know what? It's very important that they take the time to learn. This is a huge jump from college to pros. It's a huge jump. People expect almost too much out of these players, where they think they're going to become all-stars immediately when they come on the field. You have certain players that can do that. We've seen it in the past with guys like Saquon Barkley or Zeke, or, Carson Wentz did pretty well.
Dak
I mean,
Prescott,
you see
Baker
guys
Mayfield.
like that. Yeah, you see guys do that.
But
Even
also,
Odell.
but with out of those QBs, with Dak, Baker sat half the year. And with Wentz and Dak, especially Dak, he had Tony Romo there the whole time.
Yeah,
they had people mentoring them as they're going. You could always see the rookie year, both Dak and Wentz, when they would go to the sideline. You could see him sitting down, and you saw a veteran QB sitting there next to them, showing them tape, showing them stuff of what they saw, what they could have done better. So I feel like that.
Yeah.
But back what I was saying about Steve Smith, I just wanted to say that calling him unprofessional, and it's ridiculous that he wanted to be released and unfollowed and thing. So this is back in 2014. So when Panthers GM at that time, Dave Gettleman, told Steve Smith that his roster spot was not guaranteed, he asked for a release, refused the pay cut, and they eventually got cut.
Yeah, I mean...
So, really, dude, if you could talk about trash, how about you see what you did? So, I don't want to hear it. That's why I don't have any respect for Steve Smith. I don't think he's a good in the booth. I don't think he was a great wide receiver. Yeah, he was a good wide receiver. Don't think he was a top wide receiver. But that's just me. But
yeah.
I feel like...
I just had a couple more points after, too.
Go on.
What's that?
I said yes.
Just the whole thing with Daniel Jones, just to wrap it up. I mean, there's a lot of... We went through the thing today. We went through some of the grades. Some of the people gave the Giants a D grade, a D+. And I mentioned to you, the people that are doing these grades, I highly guarantee they haven't looked at any of Daniel Jones' tape. They've only observed what people say or the majority and the narrative of what this is with that topic.
Speaking of what you were saying about how we were looking at it, I just want to go back to one of our fans who listens to every week. RJ, you are crazy. Philadelphia did not have one of the best draft classes. They're in the middle of the pack. They didn't have the best. Their grade is a B to a B minus to a B plus. They didn't do anything They did so fantastic. They did not have a best draft class. Dylan agrees with me. They did not have one of the top 5 draft classes behind these two teams. No, you are crazy. It's that every year as a sports fan, you always think your team did great. You look at it through lenses. But you look on the outside end of what other teams did. I'm sorry, they did not have one of the top draft classes in this year.
Well, that's part of why I brought up the whole Daniel Jones thing, because I've seen, not only RJ's comment, but a couple other comments about Daniel Jones and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of people that are already saying that he's a bad pick, he's not going to pan out, all this stuff, when the kid hasn't even gotten his jersey or helmet yet. Probably hasn't even tried a Giants helmet on yet.
No.
They have to wait until...
He really hasn't even walked out on the field yet.
They have to wait. I mean, this Friday, tomorrow, or not tomorrow, today's Wednesday. Friday is the start of their mini camp, like rookie camp and stuff. So, eventually, yes, we're going to see what he can do. And then we have to wait till preseason. Heck, we might have to wait till regular season to see it on display. People got to be patient. listen, these guys that are making these decisions and these draft grades and stuff, just because Daniel Jones was not ranked in a lot of people's mock drafts, there's teams that have different boards, different draft boards. He could have been, and I've heard that he was better than Haskins on people's boards. It all comes down to, like I said, square one, professionalism. The kid is a true professional. He's humble, and he has qualities that can be a leader. And in college, he was faced with adversity. He was faced with a terrible receiving group, a terrible offensive line, and he still managed to try and win games, and he's kept his poise. That is really important when you're evaluating any player but a quarterback. That's the one guy that you need to have that has leadership qualities. If he can't lead, nobody is going to lead the team, especially on offense.
Exactly.
I'm trying to remember. There's something else I was going to talk about, and I don't remember.
So we're going to wrap up our show for today, unless you want to add anything more quickly.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
But remember, the biggest thing is, like, we don't know.
Oh, yeah. This is the other thing. So you were talking about Steve Smith. I want to bring up another wide receiver. Chris Carter. Did you hear the comments he talked about the Giants franchise?
No, I did not.
He was saying that the Daniel Jones pick was based off of him being a white man. And it was all a racial
I don't even like talking about that because it's such, like, it's so annoying nowadays that happens.
Oh, yeah. But the biggest thing I just want to say, the Giants had the longest active African-American general manager. If that doesn't say anything, they had one of the first African-American assistant coaches in the NFL. So if that doesn't say anything, then I don't know what it tells you. That pick was not based anything on race. And I can't believe that was ever made. I can't believe that comment was made. And it's not even because it was the Giants. I don't want to hear that from anybody.
I wish I could say I'm surprised, but
I'm not coming from Chris Carter. I mean, respect him as a player, but some of the things that he says, I just cannot believe he says it. And that's one of them. Blew me away. I was like, are you serious right now? This has nothing to do with race. I guarantee it. Nothing to do with it. Daniel Jones was just their guy. People just can't accept it. They have to. That's the problem. When things like this happen in sports, not even just sports, it could be politics, anything. They have to reach for a scapegoat or reach for something. And that probably got them a whole lot of views, a whole lot of clicks and everything. And other media sources started using it. I was blown away by that comment. I couldn't believe it. And it's not just because it was with the Giants. It could have been the Cowboys. It could have been the Eagles. It could have been anybody. I would have just lost it with that. That is just...
Yeah.
I don't know. That people wonder why sometimes racism is alive. Because of things like that. It doesn't matter. I don't care if my quarterback was blue, purple, black, white, whatever color he was.
Yeah.
If he can do the job, he can do the job. I don't care what ethnicity or race he is.
Yeah. No, 100%.
I guess I just had to get that off my chest.
As we wrap up today's show, we just want to know, make sure you guys are looking at the J&D Sport Show. Our new website. We will have try to have weekly posts about recaps of the week in sports, any big games, any news events. Throughout the season, we might do a NBA mock draft as well, right before that draft, because obviously we don't know until the lottery picks are in. But as of right now, we just finished our post-draft power rankings in the NFL, so make sure you check that out. I just want to say, a few teams that people probably have surprised is from last season to this season. We have the Browns in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
We have just some surprises, We have...
Yeah, there is a couple in there.
We have Pittsburgh not in the top 15. So, just check out the power rankings. It will be up. And we will be fixing this right before... We'll make another one right before... right during
preseason, or what do you think?
during preseason, right after preseason, and then week to week. Just like they do in the NFL. But the only reason we want to do it before preseason starts, like some of these teams do, is because we want to see some of these players play before we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
just like we said. That was one of the things. We can't evaluate these players. We can as much as we can from tape and paper, but once you see them on the field, that's really what it's going to come down.
Because you never know what these players. Because you can, they could go great in college, but terrible in the NFL.
And God forbid if a couple of them don't make it through training camp.
Yeah.
Something happens.
What happens if one of these players, heaven forbid, a QB, tears his ACL, breaks his collarbone?
Yeah. We've already seen Isaiah Crowell. He's done.
He's done for the season. So right there, we're gonna have to fix our things right now because of that.
Yep.
But like I said, just keep updated. Website is you can find our website on our Facebook page. Make sure you follow our Facebook page as well as our Instagram account. Our Twitter account.
Yeah. We have those links too in our website too.
Yes, we have all those links to our website. Make sure you follow our YouTube channel as well as if you have Google Podcasts, you can search on the Google Podcast app. If you search the J&D Sport Show, you can find our podcast and you'll be able to listen to us every week and you get notifications. Make sure you turn your notifications on, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get our weekly podcast and share our page so we can gain more subscribers.
Yep. And thank you to everybody who's been contributing, pointing out some people like RJ Monroe, Kyle Andrews, Dylan Terry. Just been a lot of regular commentators, I guess you would call them.
Yeah, especially huge shout out to RJ Monroe. He's been
commenters, that's what it
our
is.
Most dedicated fan so far. So
yep. Every podcast, RJ.
Even though we like to...
He didn't want... he told me he never watched podcasts before until he found ours. And now he watches ours and another one every week. So just glad we could be a trendsetter.
Those things right there. We like...
And that means a lot. It really does. It means a lot to us.
We like those comments. So, like I said, just like, share, subscribe. And we will see you next week. Make sure you stick with Facebook so we can... keep on talking. If you have any suggestions of what topics you'd like to hear, always, shoot us a message. Leave a comment on YouTube, send a message on Facebook. Don't hesitate. We will always respond. But once again, this is Joshua Velasquez.
And I'm Dylan Davis.
And this is the J&D Sport Show. And have a good day.